all for being at this meeting. We are here to talk about Stephanie and what's the best option for her going forward. I'm Mrs. Jones, the administrator. This is our special education teacher. This is our general education teacher.
Why is he here?
He's here because Stephanie could possibly go into general education for all or a portion of the day, so we wanted to bring in Mr. Weiss.
Yes, because her strongest subject is history, and that's what I do.
And then these are Stephanie's parents. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, as you know, Stephanie has a mild disability, and it's a learning disability. But I'm very happy to have her. She's a pleasure to have around. But recently she has been acting out and she's distracting other students because she finishes work early because I'm assuming she gets bored. And she's currently in the all-day resource room, as you know. But since she is doing very well, I need her to be in the least restrictive environment, and I believe that could be the general education room.
I need Stephanie to stay there because that's where she's succeeding. As you said, she's doing well, so I pull her out.
I need Stephanie to be put in that general education classroom. I feel like it'll only benefit her, not only academically because it can challenge her, and she's not going to be the sole focus in the classroom anymore with like 29 other students. She'll get a chance to kind of feel for it and work through things maybe she hasn't seen before, and it'll benefit her socially as well because she's interacting with new peers.
I need Stephanie to have a chance in my room just to see if it works out, and if it doesn't have the option to go back to resource room.
I just need Stephanie to be in an environment where she can be successful.
But if we put her in the gen ed, what if she doesn't work out? You're going to throw her back into the resource?
I feel like general education is going to benefit her though. Even if it doesn't work out, she's still getting that experience.
Okay, but then when you put her back in the resource, it's like, congrats, you failed out there.
Well, that won't actually happen because if we do see her struggling, we could add a paraprofessional in the classroom to help her out and do a one-on-one while still being in the classroom.
Wouldn't that distract your other students?
No. Paraprofessionals in other classes, we have them in math, we have them in biology and in chemistry. So far, it has worked out great. The students get that one-on-one help and they get the general education just like every other student. The student doesn't have any complaint. They've actually been achieving. Their grades have been going up. It's working great.
But by doing those things, it's going to be singled out.
But
Because
you
everyone's
already
gonna know.
hear her. She has other students who are the paraprofessionals.
So that doesn't mean Stephanie's going to succeed in it.
Okay, but why don't we just give her the opportunity? I'm saying
Because
we
she's
don't
doing
even need
good
a
already. She's
paraprofessional.
already doing good.
Okay, well, give her the opportunity to succeed. She's saying she's
Okay,
bored in
why don't we
class.
just-
All right,
hard
folks,
things.
why don't we go around and we can talk about the different ideas so that we can hear all the different opinions.
So obviously, general education is a great idea.
So, what kind of general education?
All day,
Oh,
just
okay.
put her in there.
Okay, and when she's struggling with math, she's going to come home and you're going to help her, or what?
Absolutely.
Let's get some more ideas out there. So that's one, all day gen ed.
Well,
Now
like,
just stay in resource room.
no,
Yep.
So another option would be the resource room.
Just challenge
All
her a little
day?
bit more.
Just
Yeah,
like
just
she's-
challenge her
These
a
are
little
just
bit
all
more.
of the options. We're
but
just
she's
gonna-
saying that she's bored and she's disrupting the classroom.
But is she bored because she's not being challenged?
I think
because
we're
she's
just
in the
trying to
resource room?
establish the ideas first, then we can weigh the pros and cons of each.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss.
We can also just do half day in the general ed room, half day in the resource center.
Mhm.
So how would that work?
Well, half day would be 1 through 4th period, which we would look at her lower scoring subjects, and she would be in the resource room for those. But she's been doing very great in them. And in the other half, which would be 5th through 8th period, which would be her higher scoring subjects, she could be in a general ed classroom.
So that would be like her history class with Mr.
Yes.
Weiss.
Correct.
And what would the other three be?
Well, let's talk about that in a moment. What are some other ideas?
Well, like she was saying, there's the paraprofessional, and that seems to be working out. So even couldn't we do general education all day with the paraprofessional?
That's what I see.
Mhm.
That's an option.
We could also just do 1 hour a day in a gen ed classroom in my classroom with a paraprofessional and the rest in a resource room just to start with.
Is that available? Does this
That-
go off anymore?
That is available. We could do that for Stephanie.
Now, let me ask you this. The paraprofessionals, are they with students all day, or do they just pull them out for the one class, or how does that work? Does it depend on each student, or?
It depends on the student. We could have the paraprofessional sit right next to the student and explain one-on-one, like when students are doing individual work, the paraprofessional could be there to help the student in any questions they may have. Or we could have the student get pulled out during the classroom just so they can have a one-on-one without everybody else in the classroom.
How would you explain that to your kids when they're asking why Stephanie's being?
Most of them are used to it by now, because they've been in other classrooms with paraprofessionals, because we're a very inclusive school.
As freshmen?
Okay, so why don't we run down some of these ideas and we know the pros and cons, huh?
So obviously general education is the best.
General education with
Nothing,
no-
just, honestly, just throw her in.
So you're gonna take a
Same
smoker
question.
and tell them to just stop smoking?
Yes, I am. I feel like my daughter Stephanie will be able to succeed in that environment no matter what the circumstances. Yes, we know she has a mild disability. However, she's overcome that so far, and I think because she's succeeding so well in the resource
But what if
room-
she has a slip up and everything just goes downhill from there because of discouraging herself?
I can encourage my daughter.
I think that a general education classroom could be a great option, but I don't think that we should put her in all day right away. So maybe we could look at some of the other options.
Yes. Well, another one is gen ed all day with a paraprofessional.
Perfect.
So
She's
she
getting
does
that
That might be
experience.
overwhelming because what if she doesn't like the paraprofessional and imagine being stuck with somebody you don't like all day?
Oh, I'm sure they have more.
I can only imagine.
Oh, I could. I'm just gonna bite my tongue. But I have a feeling they have a lot of paraprofessionals out there. So
That's
she'll
gonna be a
get-
lot of change if we switch
Okay,
it up every
well,
week.
I understand. I'm not saying we have to switch it up every week. I'm saying we find one that she enjoys. She's learning
We
one.
actually currently have a paraprofessional working with us in the resource center. And we could have that paraprofessional work with Stephanie since she has seen her quite a bit.
Have they worked together
Next
at all
option.
before?
Yes.
Excuse me, we're not done talking.
That one's out of the picture.
Why is that one out of the picture?
Whoa, Mr. Weiss, what are you
I was
doing?
crossing off the first one that we kind of agreed was a no-go.
Because all day might be too much.
The all-day no para.
Well, you're in the classroom with Stephanie most often. How do you think that she would do all day in a general education classroom with a paraprofessional?
I think she would be doing amazing. I think she would do great. She is getting that one-on-one help. She's doing very great in her work in the classroom. But she's doing amazing, as you can see.
But all
She
day,
has got to
but
be
all
bored.
day.
I
But all
guarantee
day.
you. You see
But
how
all
bored she
day.
gets at home when you're
Okay,
talking
what
to
if we
her?
do half a day? All day's a little extreme. Imagine being with the same people all day, every day, and then just pulling them
Yeah,
out.
I was in high school once.
Congrats, weren't we all? All day's out of the picture.
I feel like you're just jumping to conclusions.
What are you doing?
Which idea do you like the best?
Yes.
I agree with the one period a day, which is history, her strong subject.
Okay.
Just because then she's kind of trying it out, and then we'll see from there, because I don't want Stephanie to go in full day and then her come home and hate everything and not want to do it anymore.
She's
then
loving,
she's
she's
gonna-
fun, she's bubbly. She ain't gonna hate nobody.
Let's get back to this list. So, what about resource all day every day?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Excuse me.
let's weigh the pros and cons. She's in there now.
Okay,
She
obviously.
can be challenged a little more in there.
I feel like no matter what you do, she's still gonna be bored in that class, and I feel like we need to at least give her the option to try out a different situation. I feel like it'll only benefit her, and plus you crossed out general ed all day, so I'm gonna cross out resource all day.
So it's a big negative from
And that's just a normal negative,
normal
Nothing.
negative from mom.
okay?
Okay. What about resource half day in gen ed with para half day?
I feel like that.
That's still too much.
No,
You're not
I
letting
feel like
her
it's
taste
good.
it first.
But How is she ever gonna get
You know you're gonna
adjusted to it?
traumatize her, right?
How am I going to traumatize her?
Because you're letting her go in half a day.
That's what she wants. Me and her,
What
we
did she
talk.
say?
We talk all the time. Unlike you, who is always at work, we get to talk, and
Someone
she
has to
tells me what we need. And I'm honestly trying to help Stephanie.
I think that half and half could work.
But
It could work,
but there's
or
a but.
there's always a but.
Yeah.
I didn't say but.
But you said could.
Well, I can't see the future, ma'am. It could work, and I think that we owe it to Stephanie to give her at least an opportunity to be in a general education classroom.
But not the half day.
No,
If we know that history is her strongest subject, then why are we throwing her into the other three?
well, because she does perform well in the other three.
But that doesn't mean it's her strongest subject.
That's correct.
Okay, so why don't we go through and let's just get a kind of final tally how we feel about these. What about general education all day, no para?
Absolutely not.
So that's a one, absolutely not. Would you be willing to compromise a little on that?
I guess that is not an option at this
It's
point.
not realistic.
What about general education all day with a para?
I
Nope,
think
you're
so.
not giving her a taste.
But I think sometimes it's
You're
better just to
traumatized.
jump
I think
right
that's
in.
a little too much too fast.
You're throwing her into a pool and she's gonna sink. Not
But she
swim.
knows how to swim.
Well, let's say she didn't.
Okay, well,
Next.
we'll
I
we'll
taught my
table
daughter
it.
how
We'll
to
table it for now.
swim.
What about resource all day, every day?
Absolutely not.
Would you be willing to compromise on the fact that you want your daughter to be challenged?
I want her to be challenged, yes, but I want her to succeed.
I think
She's
she can
not
be
being
able to do
challenged
that.
in the resource room, though.
But I don't think we
As
should
much
just throw
as-
her in.
They're not throwing her in. You're-
So
They're
can we
gently
cross
tossing her
out?
from the
Can we
back.
cross out resource room all day?
Yes,
Would
absolutely.
you be okay with that? With the assumption that we are going to be moving her into a new classroom just so that she can.
You want her to be
Only-
challenged. This is a
We'll
way.
challenge her, but we're setting a time on it. We're not gonna throw her in for the rest of the semester.
Okay, all right. So we're not keeping the status quo of resource all day.
Correct.
All right. What about general education all day with a para?
Yes.
So I think
That's still too much. I feel like if we're doing a trial run, which is why we crossed out, for her to stay in the resource, it should be for a short time. Short time or short period.
So give it 2 weeks, but she's in Gen Ed with a para all day.
No.
okay.
Still too
I
much.
tend to disagree.
All right. Well, let's hear out the other two. What about resource half day, gen ed half day with para?
Still too much. If we're doing 2 weeks, imagine 2 weeks of lost time.
But
She's
she's
not gonna
doing
get
just fine in that resource room, so if anything's lost, she'll be able to catch back up just fine.
And what about a gen ed, just 1 hour per week with a para and resource for the rest of the day?
I like that. Because you're letting her see. And then if Stephanie likes it, then we can move on.
We could establish that we'd have a timeline on that and just see how she does for a week or possibly 2 weeks, just to
Yep, because then you're giving her a little bit of
results.
a taste of the real world.
I think the half and half is much better than the 1 period, because what happens if it is successful? Then you're losing time there, as you would like to say,
Losing time where?
in her resource room. Because she's wasting that time. If she's being that successful, what is she even doing there? Chilling?
Okay, but what other class are you gonna put her in? Art, gym, and lunch? Lunch is in a class for all of us.
It was for me.
Yeah, look where you're at now. I say 1. Admin, how many students do you have that are currently doing what you want to do, Stephanie?
What is our normal protocol? I don't recall.
Do you normally jump in half and half, or do you do 1 class period?
It's it depends on the situation.
And Stephanie is exceptional, so pulling her in Gen Ed all day with a paraprofessional will obviously work.
But I think in this situation, maybe 1 period would be best for Stephanie, just because she's never been in the general education class.
And she's kind of already established a routine in the resource room, you know, like just that culture shock might be a little overwhelming. And
The
truthfully,
change is good, Mr. Weiss.
But you're giving her change.
change is good
And we
sometimes.
can always do a trial for 2 weeks, and then if Stephanie is overachieving, then we can maybe have another meeting and talk about this again.
So, are we good with 1?
Yes.
And you can assure me that she will be in your classroom for that 1 period.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And with a
ma'am.
paraprofessional.
Yes.
Is that the paraprofessional that is in your resource room right now?
I agree.
Good, I'm glad you do.
She does too.
Okay, so that's what we're going with.
We can start Stephanie on the 1 period a day in the general education classroom on April 8th, which is a Monday. She can do it for 2 weeks until the 22nd, and then we can meet again and see how it's going. Does that work for everyone?
That works for me.
As long as everyone comes back with an open mind.
And a closed mouth.
Thanks for coming, everybody.